Whoa, party people, what's going on? Hello, 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 Christina.
Hello. Welcome everyone to
Welcome
LinkedIn.
to, welcome to LinkedIn Unlocked, episode 12. We got a big show to unpack today, and I think unpacked is the operative word. Today, if you noticed, we are talking about books and branding, and I am joined by the newly published author, Christina Mosheri. Christina, take a bow. What's going on, playa?
Oh, not much. It has been an exciting ride. And yeah, I think that it's an experience that I never imagined for myself. And this whole show is built on us, promoting networking with our connections, right? And none of this would have been possible without you, Brian. And I know I'm always singing your praise, but seriously, man, like none of this would be possible. And to say, I released my first book this week. It makes me. It's like
Dude,
it's so exciting,
dude. So there's nothing that compares to this. They're real. There are different things in life that you will do that will be on different levels. But okay, so I was talking to Christina about this beforehand, and I know some of the people that are on our live right now that you've got copies of Talk Tech to Me, and the main thing is the main thing. Thanks, Mom, for buying all those books and sending them out to people. I appreciate you, Mom. But the reality of it is that
I loved it too.
the reality of it is when you see other people carrying your book, when like Chris Carver, Aquaman, comes up to you and is like, "Hey man, you gonna sign this thing or you want this thing to sign itself?" Right? Like that is powerful. And I wish for you much success. And I wish that other people so the cookbook that you have developed, right, that you have put together, I hope that other people use it in such a way that they become empowered, that they become their own confidence person. That Christina, tell us a little bit about the book, because So tell us a little bit about the book.
So until I still don't have it in my hands yet either. So this still feels not completely real yet. It's really nice to see the visuals. And I will say it was fun learning throughout all this time that I've been unemployed. I have learned how to use so many tools, and I actually designed the cover of the book myself, which is wild to say. And it came so effortlessly, and the idea, it was almost like a calling. And I don't want to say that and be rah-rah, but I really do. And here's an example for you guys. We're talking about books and branding today. So I have a lot of books here. So shout out. This is one of my favorite books I've ever bought in my life.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist, yep. And then so these are all journals. And I've always been a journal girl. Like I've always kept journals, and I think that it's super cool to I've had a lot of struggles in my life in the past 7 years. There is some symbolism there with the 7 minutes, backed by science as well. But having memories in my journals that I can look at, that I wrote in 2013 and 2015 and 2018, in 2022, 2023, being able to look back at those and really reflective journaling. It's been therapeutic for me. And the idea came from another idea, but also from when we were attending that event. And I've seen patterns, and it seems like no matter if you're employed, unemployed, looking for a job, a speaker, advising others, everyone across the board is lacking confidence, and it's just clear as day. And it seems to be the one thing that is in everyone's way.
So let's talk about that for a minute, real quick. I do
Yeah.
want to shout out April Toms. I want to shout out Daryl Watts. I want to fill out Phil. Phil. These are all people who are congratulating you in the comments. So
Oh, thank you so much.
I want to thank them. Christina, you talk about confidence and how people are lacking confidence. Why do you think people are lacking confidence? Like, I put my
Aside,
hands on the hip and I'm Superman and that's how I feel, right? And I use that as a confidence building exercise. But Christina, why do you think that the modern person lacks confidence? I mean, it drove you to write the book.
yeah.
But why?
Okay. So, um, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my journey with confidence. And I have been overconfident before in my life as well. Daryl was right about the tail end of our venture over at our last, my first employer, Impact. And I just was guns blazing, overly confident. And then I had points in my life where I didn't leave the house. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be photographed. And if you guys, well, I'm not going to say if you guys are following me, because you're clearly following me, because this is on my page. So you notice all the confidence and loneliness content has really come from wanting to help, because I see this gap. And whether we're talking about getting over the fear and just posting,
Mm-hmm.
applicable. It takes confidence to post your thoughts and to, I think the reason why. So I ranted. Let me get back to the question.
No, you can rant. Like, girl, you just wrote a book. Like, get out there, rant about it.
I think the reason why there is a very, it's almost like an epidemic of confidence. Because
That's how
of
I felt when
I'm gonna be bold and say it. The practices that we've been spoon fed for the past 10 years have put us here. Okay.
what is that? What is that?
Imposter syndrome. Gary V.
Okay, so wait a
Magic.
minute. Let's go back to imposter. Let's step away from imposter syndrome for a quick
Okay.
second.
Lack
You
of
talk
confidence.
about you talk about people having lack of confidence. Do you think it's because people don't know what their strengths are? And because, like, for those of you who haven't picked up the book yet, as I was editing the book, I really felt empowered and encouraged to reflect on what I was good at and how I could reinforce what I'm good at so that I could have that sense of competence and how I
Absolutely.
could be bigger than who I am. So, Christina, if you will, going back to that question, how does a person discover their strengths?
Oftentimes it's not a fun way.
Okay.
In my case, I have been crowned I learned things the hard way. Um, I just saw Daryl's comment come through, and Daryl, thank you so much for ordering the book. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. And really, I think that you're going to see some real parts of me in it, and you're going to smile and laugh. And I hope you text me when you do, because I want all the feedback. But I just got off course again.
No, it's okay, but I want to talk about people and their strengths.
Yeah.
How do you develop a strength?
So, one of my main reasons for choosing confidence of all things to journal about is it's a transfer. We're in the age of skills-based hiring.
Okay.
Confidence
I
is,
agree with that.
I will make, if I have to debate this, I will. Um, I will debate that confidence is not something that you're born with.
Ooh.
It's a skill that you need to build on. It's daily repetitive actions with a purpose, with an end goal to achieve confidence is how you build confidence. You have
Okay,
to
so
pay
so
attention. You have to
so it
want it.
sounds so it sounds to me like you're talking about building little habits or build like I talk
Oh,
about
yes.
building with Legos, right? Like Maddie, my daughter Maddie, if you're listening to this ever in perpetuity, you and Daddy used to love to play with Legos. The reality of it is that you use those Legos to build bigger and bigger monuments. Is that what you're saying about confidence?
Absolutely. 100%. You can't just, there's no Ozempic for confidence. Um,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And
and
you talk about that. You make that a literal. I mean that a metaphor there. What would you what would you do to improve confidence? And the follow up to that is how do people get better?
mhm. I just threw Daryl's, because that's kind of how my answer, uh, the framework behind my answer is, in order to develop confidence, you have to actively commit to doing things every day that are outside of your comfort zone. One being confronting the thoughts on your mind that have been racing all day long, that keep you from, you know, pitching that idea in the boardroom, or, that self-doubt in your head that you just let keep going and as you live life. And you're missing out on so much. And I think that the reason I made this book is because not not a lot of people have had to fight for their life because they didn't have a choice. And so I didn't have a choice but to be confident. And in overcoming that and surviving and experiencing loss while surviving and adapting to the aftermath, I had to break myself down to get myself to where I am now. And one of the things that I was really, in the fear of posting, fear of publishing, a confidence journal, and everybody thinking that I'm Miss Know It All, Miss Congeniality, like I'm so confident. Um, I never want to come off that way, but at the same time, I'm pretty damn proud of how confident I am right now, because I've experienced lows, and I want this to help people get to their best selves so that they can interact with each other and bring their best selves forward. And it's so simple. And I truly believe that the commitment page is what sets success from failure in using
All
this book.
right, so wait a minute. So now we're talking a little bit about building this book and about going the distance here, right?
Yeah.
Christina, this book is big. It is meant to be with somebody for 6 months.
Yes.
Folks, I just want to let you know I read the book in 4 days and then took 2 weeks to edit this book and to help Christina to make sure that it was right as rain. Christina, does it really take 6 months to build confidence, or does it just take one moment? Like what's working out there?
So my take on that is, I 30 days. Give yourself 30 days. Do you think you can, can any normal, I'm sorry, I don't want to say normal. Can any human magically build six-pack abs in 30 days?
I'm trying. Me
I
and Orange
haven't. Have
Theory.
you? I don't know anybody that can, so there's definitely work that goes into it. And I don't think that it can be done overnight. I don't think it can be done in a week. I think personally, there is science that 18 days creates a habit. And I know that from, you know, there's been in the US, there's a opioid epidemic. And these kids, as I grew up, I had friends who struggled with addiction. And in that, I dove deep to learn about it. And I learned that it took 18 days, and you're hooked. So that is also an underlying reason why I think that there needs to be so many pages, because you need to do it daily, and it's not hard. It's on. You posted about doing mundane things.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
I did.
if
Yeah.
you purchase this book and you start this journey to a more confident you with the mindset that it's a mundane task, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Tell me more.
And
Why isn't it going to work?
because if you read through when you receive your book, there are 13 to 15 pages in the beginning that will outline a recommendation of how to use the book, which the dates are blank. You can start back up and try again. That's fine. But it's not going to work. You have to put the work in, and building confidence often comes from putting light on your weaknesses and growing through them to build strengths. Kind of like how I'm here speaking with you right now.
All right. So talking about building strength, you've touched on small achievable goals
Yeah.
and wins, right? The book is filled with a lot of people who I don't want to give anything away, but the book is filled with people who have faced setbacks, people who have risen above their means and been like truly devout masters of the craft of perseverance, right? Christina, is there a person that you mention in the book or that you wrote about in the book that you really are like, that's my North Star. That's my person who handled failure differently and rose above it?
You're not going to like my answer.
Then don't you then
I've learned the
don't say
hard way.
great.
I'm going to say it anyway. I've learned the hard way that it's never a good idea to make a human a North Star.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like
You know what
that.
I
All
mean?
right.
We are
I
all
hear you.
humans.
So flip that around. Is there a favorite
Oh,
quote
there's
that's
tons. There,
there are tons because
yeah.
Christina, so real quick, I'm gonna get vulnerable here for a second. Is
I
that
would,
Christina talks about in the book her journey to put this book together since she was 13 years old. All right. Um, and in collection of quotes and mentorship and development. So, Christina, there's some key people in this book. Can you give me your top five? If you won't put anybody on a pedestal, will you give me your top five?
yeah. Okay. So now that we say, I probably should have quoted you.
No,
Today.
it's
Yeah, there are definitely, this is going to sound Confucius.
Confucius. Okay, that's cool.
That's one. Justin Welsh.
Oh, Justin Welsh, if you're listening,
Yeah,
man,
if you're
we
listening,
got to
which you're
get more
probably
time.
not.
Yeah, it's all good. Wreckfest. That's who I think should be at Wreckfest because he's in Nashville. But that's besides the
Oh,
point.
yeah. I mean, Wreckfest would be honored. Like they should be honored if they get him. That's shout out Justin Welsh. Like if there's one person that I will somewhat attach to a North Star, it would be a combination of Gary Vee and Justin Welsh. mixed with a
Oh,
little
two
bit.
very different ends of the spectrum. Two
Exactly.
very different ends of the spectrum.
Exactly. Which I think resembles me a bit, wouldn't you say?
I don't disagree with that. I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of value and a lot of purpose in that, right? Because you've
And
got
I
that high spiritedness and you've still got that calm. Like people, I get to see Christina when Christina is calm and calculating, and I know that calm and calculating when she's like, like all
Mhm.
fire, doesn't always come across, but like that's a yeah, I can see that. I get that the intersection. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Brian, you were my first friend to be an author. Like and you and Kat and I Mike
Cat
Wolford.
Kibben, Cat Kibben, Mike Wooford.
Shout out Kat Kibben, Mike Wolford. You guys, they say my whole life I've heard you are who you the 5 people you hang out with, right? And this book was my way of leveling up to rise with my tribe the best way I could, because the main thing is the main thing. Your book, I mean, I was really in it, and I know you promote Talk Tech to me like crazy, and so do I, because did really well for us. But um, you know, anything is possible, and I think when we write things out and we put them into existence, they make them become more real, more achievable. When you hang out with friends who write books and then like you get like shouted out in a book, that was the best feeling. That Brian, that was awesome. And and then you go on webinars and you go to conferences, and authors. Kat Kibben shouts me out as a recommended speaker. It's you know the building of this confidence just to push the book out didn't happen overnight.
No,
Definitely.
yeah, like for those of you who are wondering, Christina at one point was like, I want to change this. And I was like, no, we are not changing any more shit. Okay, I cursed. I apologize. I'm sorry that I cursed, but it's grown up
I
shit.
don't
I
I don't know
apologize.
if we have to change any guidelines or make it
No,
but
but
I've been really good at editing lately, so we could just cut it out.
it's all good. It's all good. Christina, you talk about surrounding yourself with positive influences. I think there are a lot of positive influences in the book. Like you've got some things from Eleanor Roosevelt that are in there.
Mhm.
You've got some things from Golda Meir, two people that I look at and I'm like, go, rah, rah, right? Um, about the book though, you've got quotes in there from Drake. Okay. You got some things in there from Drake. For those of you who
It's
do
not just
not listen
Drake.
to Drake, yeah, who is Drake and why is Drake in the book?
Drake stands for do right and kill everything. Literally,
I
yeah,
have no idea that that's what Drake stands for.
it does, but his real name is Aubrey Graham. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to associate with him right now. He's got his own PR mess to deal with.
Okay. So we'll move
Yeah.
away. We'll move away
But
from that.
there's Notorious B.I.G. If I forgot the Wu-Tang, there's going to be a serious problem. I don't think I
There
did.
will be a sequel. There will be a sequel.
Yeah.
Once upon a
There's
time in Shaolin. Got you.
yeah. There's Tupac. I I wanted to include. That's why the book is so long, because I couldn't pick.
Well, I
I
think
had a
you
really
did
hard
pick. Like, I think there was a good collection. I think there's a good cross section of individuals. What speaks
Arnold
to me though,
Schwarzenegger.
yeah, love Arnold, right? Like
Love
everybody
Arnold.
knows I'm a big Arnold fan. You wouldn't know that from my bodybuilding. But the reality of it is that Christina, I think that you accomplish a theme of this is your company, right? And And when you think about that, about people rising above who they are to do extraordinary things, I think that's the gift that you tried to give people through this book. Do you want to speak to that any?
Yeah, I think that we spoke about, um, not growing beyond what you could. Remember that comment we had?
Oh, dude, we've talked about that. Is that, like, is that if you're gonna make a move in your career, if you're gonna make a move in your life, if you're gonna associate with different people, are you stretching your abilities, right? Like, I talk about this, that like, are you going from better to best, right? Like, you're in a good place today. How do you get to a better place tomorrow? That doesn't mean how do you go from driving this car to driving the uh, uh, to driving the Aston Martin immediately, right? Like I'm like, whoa, what's
No,
your favorite car, Brian?
no.
But the thing is that how do you build, and how do you do that in incremental setting, and how do you stretch your professional capabilities? How do you stretch your personal capabilities? Who do you put yourself around? What books are you ingesting? What ideas are you flowing with, right? And
Yeah.
if anything, this book gives people ideas to flow with.
It 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 it's designed to help you get your thoughts to confront what you won't get out of your head and onto paper. It's forcing you to put everything onto paper. And for me, the act of writing things out, the act of saying out loud, like I remember when I said, Brian, I want a book. What we were talking about maybe getting another podcast, and I said straight to you, I don't want another podcast, Brian. I want a book.
Yeah.
And
So,
look at us now. Look
all
at
right.
us now.
So let's talk about that, and let's connect it back to LinkedIn Live, right? And
Mhm.
about unlocking LinkedIn and making sure that people have power and purpose. Talk to me a little bit about content creation, if you will, for a second, because you've created a full book. Just real quick, I want to, for those of you who are just joining in, I do want to shout out that Christina is a published author. She is number 626 on Amazon for self-esteem books.
Crazy.
I think that's amazing. We got to get her beyond the 500 mark. So do your part. Buy one for you. Buy one for a friend. Be that friend who helps a friend grow. About growth, and that's part of what LinkedIn Unlocked Live is all about. Is about that growth. How are you generating content that supports this book?
It, it's all a strategy. I have a strategy. We were waiting for this book to be released. It was in editing, it was reviewed,
2 weeks, yeah.
and I have been preparing content that wasn't it it's so in line with what I'm looking to grow into this next phase in my career, because I it's 2024 and I'm looking at my career a whole lot differently now. My career is me.
Christina, let's go back to that. You said that the other day, right?
Yeah.
Like, you were like, because I was like, you were like, dude, my generation. Okay, so real quick, I'm Gen X. Christina is not Gen X, so sometimes she schools me and brings me up to things. But like, Christina, you said, hey, my generation, we want to focus. It's not that you're focused on yourself. It's not that. It's not selfishness, but you're focused on not what you can bring to a company, and not what a company can bring to you, but how you can rise above all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that a lot of the lack of confidence in the world right now is a ripple effect of this dependency on employer employee relationships that used to be beneficial. And, if you're a UAW Ford employee, shout out Ford Motor Company, we love you. You're good, you're chilling. But that's just not the case anymore. And I think um, employers, since I've been observing as an employee, for 9 years. I've seen so many shady ways of belittling really high potential people in order to like keep a sense of control. And I think that's a lot to do with confidence. I think that really confident people, they're never really seeking to control things. They're not looking to give you a backhanded compliment, which is
Oh, the
just,
gaslighting. It's got to, yeah, I get you. I hear you on
and
that.
back to imposter syndrome. I think that what we repeatedly do every day and what we repeatedly think every day, what comes out of our mouth, everything that we repeat. And there was a question, Daryl, and yes, I'm saying that repetition does build confidence. If you stay in a negative mindset and expect positive results, that's, along the lines of insanity. So the journal is designed to help get your negativity out of your head, reframe it positively, and then take actions to overcome those things that are holding you back from becoming the best version of you. Because only the best version of you is going to be able to capitalize on the connections that you can make on the LinkedIn platform, which is our overall vision here. If
So,
you're not your best self, you're not getting the full potential of the connections you could be making.
all right. So I want to
Yeah,
connect
that was bold.
confidence. That was bold. I want to connect what you just said to the loss of professional identity
Mm,
and people being on LinkedIn. I think that when a layoff occurs, that a lot of people lose their sense of self and their self-worth because they have attached it to a professional role. I hate that
layoff
for people.
crushed me.
Right. And people lose their identity and it shakes their confidence and it questions their skills. What do you say to the person who's been laid off
Oh,
posting? What do you say? Like, lay it out there.
I feel for you. Like, I can't sit here and not get emotional. I feel for you. I'm the type, I have always said this in my life. I get laid off or I get fired. I quit. But like, I had never been laid off, and getting laid off was such a eye-opening experience for me because it wasn't like I can always say like I'm going to perform. I'm an overperformer, but it really it was really difficult for me because I was on the growth side of growing the business. And now that non-competes are not a thing, let me just
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Not to me being not your thing, but to that, you talk about that we talk about building confidence and we talk about an erosion of confidence.
yeah.
For those of you who are listening, if you have been laid off and you are interested in building your confidence,
Oh, please reach out.
yeah, because like we are here to help you grow. Because we know, like, we've been through it. We know what a sudden loss of income can do and how it can create financial stress, uncertainty about the future,
Oh my
how it
gosh.
erodes an individual's confidence, and how it hurts.
And then,
We get it.
prolonged time, repetition goes back to it. The longer you're without work, the harder it is to keep that confidence that I'm going to get that dream job. I'm going to get my next gig. And, I say that I look at my career differently now, and I do that. And I say that because nobody can take what we're doing here away from us. Nobody can take my book away from me. They can't take our podcast. They can't take our professional brand that we've built. Being confident in yourself and using your LinkedIn platform as a space to showcase your great strengths, and also that you're putting work to learn and upskill on your weaknesses. Shout out LinkedIn Learning. I've been doing a course that I think I'm going to unlock a new course soon. You guys just keep an eye on that. But my passion for LinkedIn has always been there. And the confidence thing came from having to build from a very dark place. And I know that not everyone in the world will ever have to experience what I had to experience. But because of what I experienced, it's going on. There's another symbol for 7 years, almost 7 years now, that it's taken me almost 7 years to be confident enough to write a book about confidence. Okay.
Well, so Christina, I think that what you're putting out there is something that everybody on LinkedIn needs to do, and that's to build their professional identity. If you've been laid off, maybe it's about rebuilding your professional identity.
Oh yeah.
I think that one of the
Refine.
things exactly, and one of the things that you point out in that refinement is taking those courses or those workshops to enhance existing skills or to learn new ones about how you can improve that employability, about how you can restore confidence in yourself. And I think that's one of the things that's great about what we're doing here, but also what you do in the book. I want to jump to something that you hinted at, where you talked about networking and engaging with professional groups and attending events and reconnecting with colleagues. Like we've reconnected with Daryl here. How does networking, either on LinkedIn, a digital platform, or networking in person, build upon the confidence that you're gathering from the confidence journal?
Oh,
I know I was long-winded. I'm sorry.
no. I think about when the first time I said my hidden, the thing that embarrasses me, the thing that I am too nervous to talk about, the thing that, I am not confident about. It wasn't until I said it out loud in a professional setting to you and a few others. It's like once I said it, it was like I couldn't stop saying it because it felt so good.
For what it's worth, Christina and I went to the weirdest dinner possible, where we ordered a lot of food.
No
I
one
got
ate.
sick. Nobody ate any food at the dinner.
We had a few oysters.
We did, but I threw them up later. So like whatever, it's all good.
On the patio.
Yeah, I ordered a full rack of lamb, like 2 racks of lamb, and I'm throwing up, but I'm like convincing myself I'm going to eat this. Never mind.
I'm pretty sure Amy Shaw expensed it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's all good. So we talked about that networking component and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And counteracting self-doubt. Do you think that this book allows people to kind of, I know it's a journal, but it's like an accounting exercise.
Exactly.
It helps people keep professional count of their accomplishments and their feedback.
Yep.
Speak to that for a minute.
I'm a record keeper. If you know me, I keep my receipts. I keep everything. Okay. And that is exactly. It is a daily commitment to put yourself first for 7 minutes. It's the least you can do for yourself. And I did a similar exercise to this before we launched this. And it's hard to say without everybody having the physical copy in their hands. But once they get through the first 15 pages, it's clear as day that if you're going to commit, you will see the confidence increase. You will. It's right there in there, and nobody can boost your confidence but you.
Well, I mean, it's managing those smaller manageable tasks.
Hmm.
It's almost like a job search or like what we do on LinkedIn. And when I say
It's got
what
to
we
be
do on
scheduled.
LinkedIn is it's got to be scheduled. Like it's got to be scheduled. It's
It's
got to
got to
be
be a
calibrated.
priority.
It's and then it's the little things like updating your profile a little bit at the time, updating your resume, applying to a certain amount of jobs, applying to 100 people to connect with each week, reaching out to those 100 people and saying, hey, what kind of problem are you trying to solve, and how can I help you solve it? It's those little incremental things, and I think that the journal does a really good job of boosting that confidence
Yeah.
and creating that positive momentum.
Especially at the time when we need it most, because this month is it's mental
Mental health.
health
Yeah.
awareness month. This month, usually I am walking 20K steps a day. There's a challenge that has been a part of my daily routine the month of May for 2 years. I'm still doing it this year, but to put a little example here, I started reflective journaling through all of these. I have so many journals. That's awesome that I don't have to buy a journal because, well, I
I,
have a journal. But through reflective journaling, when I first started falling in love with walking, because that's one of my other loves. There's LinkedIn, and I love to walk. And I never used to love to walk. When I go walking, that's my me time now. And I have my journals, which are over the course of about 3 years. And I started writing down, one of my daily goals was to hit 5K steps. And over the course of 3 journals and 2 years, my daily averages that I was writing went from 5 to 25K. And you can attest for that. You saw me last year. I was crazy. I was walking all the
yeah.
time. But when you write every day that you're going to commit to walking 5K steps that day, all you think about the rest of the day is that you wrote that down and that you want to achieve that. And you get better at achieving it the more you write it down. And the more you achieve it, the more you want to push that boundary. So it's a blueprint to reach your wildest dreams. You just got to be able to put them on the paper and admit them.
So is this a manifesting thing or is it something different?
Why don't you tell me you're going to ask that?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't,
So
I thought about it because yeah, help me to understand that.
So I don't want to put it in a category because I
Okay.
think that misconfidence is uh, on its own vibe. Okay.
Okay.
It has a few principles, frameworks, things that I've taken over the years, which would be a little bit of meditation, a whole lot of visualization, because the
Okay.
act of writing something down is you visualizing that's visualizing right there, in the simplest form. That was just an example. So there is a uh, philosophy called the law of attraction. Is it a philosophy?
I don't know. I will I mean, I believe in the law of attraction. I also believe in the law of abundance,
Yes.
that
Yes.
we should come from an abundant standpoint, and educate other
Growth
people
mindset.
about abundance. But I don't know that I've got anything on that.
So the journal is a blend of positive affirmations, because I strongly believe that positive affirmations daily result in increased positivity in your daily life. You're literally putting it out into existence. And that is an example of the law of attraction. The law of attraction is old. I think I was into it really deep, like maybe 10 years ago, got sick, gave up on it, hated it, started regaining my confidence, revisited it. So there are parts of it that I really believe are important, that are included within the book. And then there's the neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Hold on.
And Daryl Watts, if you're still here, drop me something if you know what I'm talking about, because
all right. All right. So real quick, you talk about this being a 7-minute activity, right?
Mhm.
7 minutes. I know the metaphorical speak about the journey you've been on for the past 7 years and that
Mhm.
metaphor, but is there anything else that's tied to, I mean, like, why 7 minutes? Why not 10 minutes?
Yeah, there is. I don't want to give it to you because it's in the book and you
Oh,
have
it's in the book. It's in the book. That's right.
you gotta
Okay.
have
All right.
to get it.
So so
But
let me ask a different question then, right? Is that your book is about reaping the rewards of a confident outlook,
yes,
about self-confidence, about how it changes all the aspects of your life, how it improves decision making. You also provide the science to that in the book. What did the book do for you?
face my fears, because in gaining confidence, you're letting go of your fears.
Okay, okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
And you know, I've used it, and now when my new copy comes, you know, my expectation for my first 30 days are to get the confidence to write the really hard book. I've been you know, not so you know, just because I'm you know, we're building confidence here, right? Doesn't mean that I'm confident in everything. Nobody is confident in everything. We are human. There are things that, you know, you may never, for me at least, there are some things that, you know, I may never fully let go of, but we can work to build better habits daily, to not just tolerate them, but to live a good life alongside them, if that makes sense.
All right. So look, I've asked Christina a lot of questions today. We've talked a lot about the books and a lot about personal branding, and we've talked about the power of confidence. You know, I want to thank Daryl Watts. I want to thank April. I want to thank Phil. I want to thank all these people who've jumped in on the comments.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
What questions do y'all have for Christina? Yeah, that's right. I'm not letting you off the hot seat.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know what? Any question, drop your questions. I am more than happy to answer. I want to know. I want to know your burning questions. And also, do you think we should add like a body doubling?
oh,
Sorry.
wait a minute. Yeah, so we got a question, right? Like, would Christina, you ask it because like I'm gonna
Yeah.
fumble this ball.
Um, I wanna definitely put this up from Daryl. Vulnerabilities are, yeah, sometimes hard to face and deal with directly. And sometimes, you know, you dwell on them for 3 years, like I did. uh, I I needed time to heal, to be, um, and this will all get uncovered in the next book. And I don't mean to tease another book when I just released a book, but
Don't worry, it'll take you a while to write the second book. Trust me.
I've been avoiding talk about hard to face vulnerabilities. I'll give you a little sneak peek. My next book is going to have a chapter titled Code Red. And I have been trying to write this. I've been trying to have the confidence to put this on paper for a while. And it's tough. It's definitely tough. So, and with that, all of you guys tuning in or that are going to be watching the replay or watching us on
Listening
YouTube,
on Spotify.
on Spotify,
Subscribe to
Spot,
Spotify. Yo,
yes,
Spotify.
yeah, for everyone that's going to be tuning in, you know, addressing one vulnerability or overcoming one obstacle, if you get just that out of this book, one thing, you make my whole year. Because I truly believe that we can't solve every crisis of confidence, but we can do the work to make a better life where we are more confident and we are confident where we treat each other great. Like we should be treating each other with the utmost respect at all times. And I feel like there's a lot of disrespect in the workplace that has just kind of piled up over the years just because of norms. And whoever made these norms years ago, it may have been, the right thing then, but it's not now. And so people are dealing with that disconnect and they're doubting themselves. And if I can leave, I know we're getting close on time, but
We're getting close on time, but leave. Yeah, it was like,
if I can leave anyone, or if I can leave everyone with any, did I just mess that up? If
no,
I can
dude,
leave,
if I could leave anybody with something,
yes,
I don't know.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. We've been, I've been all hands on deck for this book for it was what, like 3 or 4 weeks. It was 2
Oh,
weeks.
I've been
It
editing
felt
it
like
for
3 or
2.
4 weeks to me.
I've been editing it for 2. Dude, the past 3 days, like refresh. Like Christina will tell you, like the first thing I did yesterday morning is I texted Christina and I was like, look at this, and I was like,
I
yeah.
couldn't believe it. I had been refreshing it every 5 seconds for like 4 days.
Yeah. So that's it. If there's a question that you have about confidence, I'm sure that the book will answer it. If not, I know Christina's DMs
it will
are
uncover. You will uncover it yourself throughout the pages. And last thing about the book is if you are left-handed, it's specifically made so that your ink won't bleed all over your hands, because I am left-handed and we wanted to give you enough space. And I didn't want anyone to have to deal with that. So that's why it's a bit bigger.
It's what that's a great call out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any additional questions come through.
That's
But
okay.
it's okay. You can DM Christina. You can DM me. Actually,
I have a call to action.
you got a call to action. What's the call to action?
Yes. For the people that are tuning in now, or Daryl, I'm talking directly to you, and everyone that will watch the replay, when you get your book, if you could do me the greatest favor,
Big solid.
post a picture. Let's get over the fear of posting. Let's get that confidence, right? Post a picture with the book. Tag me. I will repost it. I will give you my connectivity cheat code for free as well. Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't told you about that one.
all right. Well, that's cool. Everybody, that's this week. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
And may your week be filled with confidence, boldness, and all things Christina. Let's jam.
Yeah. I hope you guys have a great week. Confidence, get all that energy, and face your fears. There's nothing to be afraid of. What's the worst that could happen? Shoot your shot.
All right. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great week.
Thanks, everyone.